Wednesday, my dude.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Happy Wednesday. And more importantly, happy belated birthday. Pat, Cody, I am so sorry. I almost missed your birthday entirely yesterday.
I mean, I'm so old I could miss my birthday. So who cares?
Did you have a good birthday?
Thank you. I did. In
spite of my leaving you high and dry until like 11 at night.
Oh God, no. Who cares? I mean, at my age, you just buy your own presents and do whatever you want. Who cares?
Well, anyway, happy birthday. I am grateful to have you in my life, as we all are. So cheers to you.
Likewise.
What are you drinking there tonight?
Let's see. Local-ish beer by Pattern Brewing. Just Proper.
All right.
Delicious. It's got the canned on date of just like 2 weeks ago. That's how fresh this beer is.
Fresh. It's the opposite of wine. It's a fresh, a non-aged beer and a fine aged wine.
That's how you do it. How's your world?
It's good. I mean, fake it till you make it. Act as if. I'm hoping whatever I'm projecting on the outside finds its way to the inside. No, it's fine. I'm very lucky that I have 2 healthy kids and a husband and a dog and a roof over my head for now. And so I will count those blessings because that's more fortunate than 99% of the world. So yay. Okay, we do have a guest, so we want to just get to quickly our notes from the front office here. Please make sure to like and subscribe, smash that notification bell. As always, we want to thank our amazing pup members, our heroes and sheroes. We love you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, for your membership, your likes, and retweets, comments. We love it all. We love hanging out here with you guys twice a week. So thank you. Oh, it just goes on for such a long time. There's so many of you. I love it. All right. I think we'll start the show and then we'll do the cheers and all that after, right? Or do you want to? How do you want to?
Let's do cheers real quick, and then we'll bring on Nicole,
okay.
A wonderful guest.
Yeah. So last week, a couple days ago, we talked about the Handala flotilla setting sail to Gaza. They were kidnapped by the IDF and brought to Israel. Many of them have already been deported. I think 5 are still being held. But the most horrific one is Chris Smalls, the leader of Amazon Union, who has been beaten by the IDF. So here's Medea Vendeman giving a report.
Medea, you were giving an update on Chris Smalls.
Well, we have the horrible information that he has been beaten, that he has been treated horribly, and that instead of sending him now out from Tel Aviv to the U.S., they're instead taking him by land to Jordan and then putting him on a plane to Dubai and then sending him on a plane to Newark from there. So he's been treated totally differently from all of the other Americans who were on the Handala, and trying to get people from the U.S. consulate in Jordan to be there when he enters Jordan, to make sure he gets on flights, to learn from him exactly how he was treated, and to provide the consular services that they refused to do when he was in Israel. And then we will have people in Newark to greet him when he arrives at 9:20 in the morning.
Can we definitively say he has been released?
Well, he's in the process of being released.
He's in the process of being released.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Can't wait until he's back in the U.S. and we hear from him directly. But we know that he was kidnapped illegally, and we know that he was treated very differently from everyone else. Racism, perhaps? I would say so.
I would think so. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Whoops.
She's amazing. The U.S. consulate apparently ignored his pleas for help. So that's where we stand.
And my real fear was that they were going to actually, abuse somebody that was on that ship. And I was really worried that that might lead to them us not getting them back, because he's going to be able to come back here and report on the violence that they did against him. So, I mean, cheers to him for putting his life on the line, and all the people on the Handala.
Yeah. So, cheers for sure. And just absolutely despicable. Okay. Switching beats just for a moment. We would love to introduce Nicole Lee Schroeder, PhD, Assistant Professor of History at Kean University, a historian, educator, and a disabled activist in higher education. She writes about how disabled people have resisted medicalization, advocated against ableist structures, and leveraged power wherever possible. In her spare time, Nicole enjoys video games, fiber arts of all kinds, and iced coffee. We welcome Nicole Schroeder. Hello.
Hi, thanks so much for having me tonight.
Well, thank you for being here. We hear it's hot over on your side of the country.
It's gross. It's just gross. East Coast right now, for anyone listening, my heart is with you. I am with you.
It's a wet bulb summer, huh?
Yeah. I wish I were closer to the coast, but I'm not, unfortunately.
Yes. Well, yesterday, there was a horrifying earthquake in Russia, which sent alerts for tsunami warnings here, both, on the whole length of the coast, and up where you were, Pat. You're not close to the ocean though, right?
No, I wasn't worried at all. And you may have forgotten my birthday, but I didn't care about your tsunami warning. So
look at that. But yeah, so there's, we're all getting the extreme ravages of climate one way or the other, I guess, right?
Can only get worse, frustratingly.
It's very frustrating. So you just wrote a piece as part of a book called Do Less Harm, Ethical Questions for Health Historians. And you specifically were writing about accessibility. Do you want to just kind of give us an idea of your history, what got you into this field, and what you were trying to impart in this particular piece?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So for anyone interested, this is the book. Please don't buy it, but I feel like compelled to
buy it. Your chapter is excellent.
It is very much so for academics. And the point of this book, from the kind of editors who were Courtney Thompson and Kylie Smith, was to train people who work in health humanities. And so that's any like sociologist, historian, English, anyone who's writing about patients, basically, to do that ethically, or more ethically. Obviously, whenever we tell stories about disabled people or about people who engage with like the medical industrial complex in any way, shape, or form, we have responsibilities, one, to the ethics of our field, right, to do good scholarship, but also two, to the people that we are writing about, right, that we maintain confidentiality, or that we tell their stories in an empowering way rather than a disempowering one. And I would say that we also have a responsibility to make sure that when we do research on patient populations or really anyone, they should benefit from that research, right? It shouldn't just build academic careers for those of us in the academy who thankfully profit off of that research. Those are not widely accepted claims, though, in the academy at large. I think there's a lot of debate about who is deserving of the kind of like praise and kudos and the benefits of publication.
Right.
And so a bunch of really phenomenal historians and anthropologists, sociologists, people who are in the humanities broadly got together to kind of work on this group. It came out of a working group through the Consortium of History, Science, Medicine, and Technology, which is located in Philadelphia. They do a bunch of working groups for scholars. And so there was a working group that was kind of wrangling with this question of ethics. How do we teach people to write better? How do we think throughout our careers about ethics? Because very often, like once you are accredited, once you get your PhD, it is harder to carve out time to read and to think and to sit and to slow down.
Yeah.
The academy is really bad at doing slow work, especially in like neoliberal, hyper-productive kind of ways. And so this book was kind of a challenge, one, to the people who were writing and editing it. How are we doing ethical work, and where could we better do the work that we do? And two, how can we communicate that to students who want to go into these fields, who are really passionate about changing the future of healthcare and the future of medicine, and who want to remedy all of these past harms? Like, how do we teach in the classroom in effective ways and give students the kind of skills they need to do ethical research? And so that was the main goal for the book. People wrote about a bunch of different topics. I had a chapter on accessibility, and I kind of drew a lot on my own experiences as a high-risk scholar and a disabled scholar who was witnessing all of these avenues of accommodation kind of fall apart in the wake of, Biden declaring the pandemic over, quote unquote. And I say that in quotes because we were very much so still in a pandemic, if not multiple pandemics.
Thank you.
Just to make it very clear.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a piece on accessibility that was focused on the ways in which remote access specifically broadened for disabled people and allowed us to imagine new possibilities of belonging, and the ways that those all quickly were pulled away as soon as non-disabled scholars felt safe going back to in-person kind of normal conferencing activities or any other relevant activities.
Was it Hannah Arendt who said that one of the key factors of fascism is a lack of empathy? I think it might have been, but the fact that everybody was scared for a while and we reimagined how we could come together as communities by socially isolating and adapting to a virus, and we were all in on that, and your bubbles and masks and testing and then as soon as people ignorantly, and I mean, I think that was, a socially or a politically constructed ignorance, thought that, oh, it's just a cold, it's not a big deal, I've had it, I'm not going to die, the death rates are going down. They just decided there were groups of people who were going to fall by the wayside, and that was okay. It was such a glaring, disgusting insight into the eugenics practice in this country and the world. I mean, it's horrifying.
Yeah. And I think many activists kind of pointed out the fact that it was really that Black and brown people were dying, right? White people felt like they could go back to normal because they weren't in these high-risk jobs in the same way that people of color were. Yep. And so if you look at the death tolls, disproportionately people of color died in the earliest waves of the pandemic. And of course, right, still continue to die, but the reporting is less accurate and the data is not as easy to kind of figure out right now.
Collect data. It's not even happening. Yeah, it's the best thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I really appreciate the example you gave, because it really showed you how the industry, the scholastic endeavor, I forget what group you were trying to speak to, but they put you all together to work for them and then didn't accommodate you when it was disability activists that were supposed to be speaking even. And it was just, you laid it out as such a great example.
Yeah, I think there are, many institutions want to rhetorically support diversity, and it's a real question as to whether they are investing the resources to actually do that, right? I would say most are very happy to claim that, because that's what undergrads want, right? Who are undergraduates disproportionately in the United States are disabled. 20% of college students are disabled. They want professors who look like them. They want people who care about what they experience in life. They want to hear about themselves in the classroom. They want to read about themselves in the research. They want to know that people are making strides to understand the things that they're struggling with. And so universities are very happy to kind of rhetorically say,
Yep.
of course, we're going to have a panel on XYZ, or of course, we're going to have a speaker. Of course, we're going to do whatever. But when it comes to that panel or speaker saying, well, I need accommodations and accommodations are going to cost money, not so happy to support most of the time, which is exhausting. Academic organizations are interesting in that most of them are funded based on dues paying members. And so you pay dues to belong to an org. They use your dues to then kind of run a conference or pay for a space or do any of those things. And so continually disabled scholars, or we can say pretty much any marginalized scholar right now is not safe to travel to the US if they, it doesn't even matter if they're white, honestly, at this point. ICE is rounding anyone up everywhere. But especially if they're people of color, right? This is not a safe time to travel to the United States for academic conferences. And to be really clear, this has been something that scholars who do their work on a global scale have always highlighted. This is not something that is new, right? I think academics in the global north, so Europe or North America, disproportionately publish in English and kind of dominate the field. There are tons of scholars from the quote unquote global south who are doing the real work in communities.
I'm trying to get you here as I'm putting up people's comments. Sorry.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, people are posting such amazing comments. There are hugely disproportionate issues in the ways that we are preparing students to kind of remedy these equity gaps that have existed for a really long time and continue to persist because we're not actually equipping the right people with the tools they need to remedy those gaps. And so scholars in the global south have long said, like, we're barred from going to these conferences that are really expensive because we have to travel internationally.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, what is the tipping point at which time we decide that actually, in some ways, remote access is a good thing? And I'm not saying it's perfect, right? It's not, right? Remote worlds can be really inaccessible. They can be really poorly planned. They don't make up for the same type of networking we can do in person.
Right.
But if we just say, like, well, they're always terrible, then we never hone them or improve on them or use them well. Right. And we should see them as a tool in our tool belt that we can use to fight climate change, to fight ICE, to fight all of these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just imagine, having seen accessibility becoming more mainstream during the pandemic and then just the rug pulled out from under you, especially under the guise of the pandemic being over, which was false. So you knew you were not safer than you were any minute before they declared the pandemic over, but you saw how it could work. It did have benefits of bringing the international community in. I'm sure you felt safer, and a lot of your disabled peers also. And I don't know, like, what's the reaction when you try to push for these accommodations? Other than budgeting, are there other issues besides just the budgeting, financial expense that the colleges face?
Yeah, I think honestly, like, a lot of the pushback is rooted in what people are comfortable with. And I understand, like, I get that it must be fun. Since I graduated in a pandemic, I graduated in 2021. So the kind of tail end of my PhD, I did it from my childhood bedroom at home in Massachusetts, honestly, because I was like, I'm tired of fighting people in Philadelphia for the last toilet paper roll. I can't do this anymore. So I moved home. My brother finished his undergrad degree in the same household. I finished my PhD in the same household. It was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, right, like finishing my PhD, looking at all these remote possibilities, seeing these worlds open up and my disabled peers engage in ways that I'd never gotten to experience with them before was really compelling. And then everyone just went like, well, I want to go see my friends and take a trip to Chicago every year.
Right.
Or I want to have this time that I can carve out. And I get that for many people, a conference is a fun, exciting opportunity to travel. Or to like take a vacation around that conference, right? Where you stay in the area for longer and actually enjoy it. It just was never that for me.
Yeah.
Like as a disabled person, traveling for conferences was just like always like, well, cool. What medical equipment will an airline destroy? And what medication am I going to get flagged for? And like, this is going to be physically draining and onerous. And is this the best way to do work? And I would say like spending, 72 hours with other people where you're in conference panels for 12 hours a day is not the best way to do work. Some people thrive under those conditions and they're really upset when you say like, well, I don't. So what spaces are you building for me? I think
it also feels like such a simple, at least on a basic level, they ripped even the most simple way of allowing people to contribute remotely because it was set up for that time. So it really does feel beyond just like, oh, we can't figure out how we could ever do something, okay, it's not as great. Maybe you don't have the best angle. Maybe you don't have the best sound system. I mean, come on, these are all just feeble excuses, but like we had something set in motion and then to take it away, first of all, it's just so cruel and short-sighted, but it really feels motivated by something macabre because even just leaving the Zoom situation intact, and sometimes you would see the back of, a professor's head if you had to stay home or whatever, is preferable to being forced to have to go in person to a place where people are no longer masking because the scarlet letter. And so if, and I think at this point where we're seeing some of the most formerly renowned institutions in the world capitulating to fascism, it doesn't feel like they're going to bring back any kind of accommodation, even something so simple as Zoom.
Yeah, I think I'm of two minds on this. On one hand, the demand that students have for remote classes and online learning is unprecedented. And I think it is, economically foolish to say that doesn't have a future. On the other hand, I don't know that people are thinking about quality instruction, right? Well, like with the rise of AI and all of these other things, like there's an assumption that like instruction and classes and all of this stuff is just going to be easy to construct virtually. Right. And that is not. Remote classes can be amazing. Asynchronous classes can be amazing if they're designed by people who know the content and know the fields and do amazing work already.
Right.
They're not amazing when AI designs them. That's just.
Of course not. No, it's horrible. AI is just, I'm an actress. You don't even have to be in the arts or education or anything. You can just be human and know that it's all nefarious in the ways that they are hoping to use it. I think there are some benefits, but that's not their goal in using AI, certainly.
Yeah. So I think like from a student perspective, there's a lot of demand for remote access. And I think that will persist. And it's a question of who is going to see that as an economic opportunity. On a faculty side, I don't think much is going to change for, professors, unfortunately, in our professional engagements.
Are you teaching in person right now?
I am. I've taught in person since I took this job at Kane University in 2021. Okay. And so I have a cart with a HEPA on it that I wheel into my class. And I offer masks to all of my students in every class session. And I am fully masked on campus. And so.
Do they, what percentage would you guess take the masks or wear masks?
0%.
Zero? Excellent.
My students are thoughtful, I think.
Right.
I teach hybrid. And so I have really clear instructions of like, you are not to come to campus if you're symptomatic with anything.
Yeah. But that. It's so, we know what, like between 40 and 60% of cases are transmitted pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic cases. So the stigmatization of masks is so upsetting that I just, it's sort of unbearable to see all of our kids being made to feel that they, I think I've raised two fairly strong young men. And unfortunately, even though their father and I wear masks indoors every time we go anywhere, they're embarrassed now and they don't. And that, I mean, they will when they're with us, but like, I know that they don't. And I think it's twofold. One is 100%, between Rochelle Walensky and Dr. Jill, they really made that scarlet letter of the mask emblazoned in everybody's soul. And so that's embarrassing especially for young people, but also I think for a lot of older people. Like a lot of what I'm supposed to do in this business is hobnob with people and go to, parties and schmooze. And when I'm the only one showing up in a mask, if it's indoors and you can't hear and it's loud. So I just don't go. But it's not like a big deal, but like, I know that I just remove myself from situations. Yeah. Go, sorry.
And bringing it back to your article, your chapter, I'm sorry, the ethical responsibility of these medical organizations to set a good example they really are largely responsible for dropping for the public adopting this, like, well, it must be fine because here's a whole room of virologists not masking at a conference, for example,
Yeah. Something that I think is really important to me personally, professionally, is that like I demonstrate the praxis that I teach in my classroom. And so if I'm going to teach about ableism, I'm going to recognize ableism in my daily life and combat it. If I'm going to teach about racism, I'm going to be aware of that in my daily life and combat it. Right. I think a lot of people are great at the theories.
Right.
When you actually risk your safety or your belonging or, your social capital to do the thing that's hard, that's where people have a hard time.
And we've seen that, I think there's maybe two other podcasts on the left who ever even mention COVID. Everybody else talks about COVID in the past, blames, what a poor decision it was to close schools, the increased levels of suicide, which is a lie, and the that masks don't really work, lie, right? Like, but that's people who call themselves people of the left. So, I think that exists everywhere, and I don't know if it's just a level of comfort and careerism, but it's deeply disappointing. And we're not going to have a revolution with people who can't even slap on a mask. Like, they're not going to overthrow anything if they can't even build community amongst people who care about health, right?
Yeah, I think like even if you didn't personally believe that this is going to be the best thing, like why would you actively stymie the movement? Like what would it hurt?
Yeah.
Right. And like, obviously masks are not the only thing that we should be using. Vaccinations, all of these other things have to follow, but for everyone else to stop at masks and then be like, nope, up to here is good. This is, we'll do vaccinations, but only one round.
Yeah.
And then we'll drop them every other year, even though COVID is constantly evolving and new vaccines are supposed to target the latest strains. Right. And I think I'm frustrated that clearly wealthy, politicians are upping their game to make sure that there are tons of resources for clean air, right? Like we see them in photos, we see HEPAs in all of these spaces. Wealthy people are making these choices, even if they're not masking. It's because they have tons of other resources that they're getting antibodies and they're getting all of these other things that the general public doesn't have access to. I think it's really ridiculous that we would allow people to be poisoned in spaces where we have control. I have control over my classroom. I don't want my students poisoned there.
Yeah.
And it extends beyond the COVID issue and beyond disability, because look at what, we've got RFK Jr. He could not exist in his position if the left had not abdicated their duty to report on him. And he didn't have so many supporters on the left.
Yep.
I think a lot of people just do not want to do the homework of like looking at the facts, assessing the risks, realizing that like every politician has tons of rhetoric to throw at you. Look at their past history of actual actions that they have taken. Don't pretend that their rhetoric that they have, they've designed just to feed to you is their policy.
Yeah.
That is so short-sighted.
Well, they hide all the studies and the data and then mock people who do their own research. And I understand there's a segment of the population who is doing its own research that was not based in science. It was based in sort of like quack stuff. But there's the Lancet, there's Science magazine, Nature, like there are studies being published, peer reviewed, and you do have to do your own research. It shouldn't be that way. That's what public health is supposed to be for. There was
that void created nothing but if you had any skepticism or were questioning the science, the only people on the left you could find were the people that were on the wrong side of the issue.
Yep. Yeah. There were, just about the sort of hypocrisy of politicians and celebrities and, ruling elite. It's twofold. One is, it is shocking to me how many times, President Biden and his wife got COVID, like Kamala and her husband. So that it makes me wonder what is happening with these people who I know that they had, the far UV lights and the daily testing, which is why they could catch it before they were even symptomatic, and they didn't wear masks, but like they don't believe in science enough or ignorant enough or think they're well protected enough against a global pandemic that they repeatedly infected themselves. But the other thing is, I was struggling to think of any moment in any movie or TV show from the last 5 years that shows a depiction of living during the time of COVID. And there was one, it's Swagger, which is a young, like a high school black or middle school, high school black club basketball team. It's really good. Ice Cube's son is the coach. But anyway, it's, really fun show. But they did show moments of wearing masks or what's happening with COVID, even when we were, post-COVID, whatever, in 2023. I just heard that Mid-Century Modern, which is the Nathan Lane, I think it seems, I haven't watched it, but like it's like a Golden Girls, but with 3 gay men. They were either doing COVID testing or masks, but that's it. Those are like the two. The Pit, which was a great show set in Pittsburgh in the ER by the same people who did ER, which I went back and watched it because my husband and I were fighting about it. I was like, how are they doing this? And nobody's wearing a mask in the ER. And in the first episode of ER, they were wearing masks, but not in post-COVID, The Pit. I mean, it's insane. But I know that they have rigorous COVID protocols on all those shows.
Yeah, I think there's a willful propaganda, right? That is being pushed on people of like, forget or only hate this time. It was a horrible time.
Right.
I'm like, was it a horrible time in terms of the economy? Like, there are questions we can ask, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was a traumatic and horrible time. Many people lost loved ones, right? But there's a reason why government officials wanted to end the social services that were extended during that time, or there's a reason why other institutions had a vested economic interest in shifting us away from the things that we were getting during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just the real estate market wanted you back to work because the value of all these properties was, and that's the one thing I think most people understood is like that affected them personally.
Yeah.
No matter if they're heartless people who could care less about the disabled, they liked working at home a lot. So, as much as the boss wants you to go to work, you experienced that you didn't really have to do your job.
There were a lot of demands that schools would be open so that parents would be free to go back to work or to like mentally fully go back to work, right? And I'm not saying that like child's education is easy to do from home, certainly for people who don't have degrees in it, right? Like that, it's a job for a reason.
Right.
But the rapid pace with which we push children back to school, we have recent studies that showed, you know, extending it this long saved thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many were lost, right?
And as you had mentioned before, even though it was the very affluent government spokespeople who would come on TV and say it's not fair to our urban Black and brown communities, we need, you know, there's no not equality, but you know, the equity. If, you know, we keep the schools closed, every single poll up until the last time they did polls on this showed that Black and brown communities, more than anybody else, wanted to continue remote school, because those schools, the public schools in our country, are really underfunded. The air quality is horrible. They're packed in 30, 40 kids to a small room. And so that was also a completely dishonest take by the people like, you know, Leanna Wen and Ashish Jha, who were at fancy private schools for their kids and redid the HEPA air filtration system, you know?
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. Well, so before we let you go, I wanted to ask one more thing, because I thought this was such an interesting part of your article. I'm going to cover your face for just a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we don't have a great way to do this, but about crip time, which I hadn't heard of that saying before. And if you could just, because it makes so much sense, and it was exhausting and sort of emotional just reading what that must be like for people who have to do this in addition to all the work that's expected of them.
Yeah. So if you've never heard of crip time before, which I'm glad I get to introduce you, that's a pleasure for me. I would look just on Google for Ellen Samuels'
Okay.
6 ways of looking at crip time. It's published in an open access journal. Anyone can access it. It's very accessible. Ellen Samuels is absolutely brilliant. And the whole essay is about this concept of crip time. And it's a way of thinking about time through disabled body minds, right? That warp and shape time in different ways. Like, one, because of like the physiological, biological realities that divergent body minds have, right? So if you have pain, being in pain for a long time warps that time, right?
Right.
Or if you have ADHD and you're hyper-focused, like you might forget that time is passing. You might be so into the thing that you're doing. And so crip time kind of accounts for that. It says that like the way that we experience time is not universal by any way, shape, or means. But oftentimes disabled bodies are working at a slower pace because we very frequently have to accommodate ourselves in a way that is very unaccommodating. And those accommodations take a lot of time because they take energy and care and attention and fighting with people and getting the resources and pushing and writing the response letters and doing all these tasks that like normal people don't have to think about.
Yeah. And
so crip time is a way to account for like, one, the realities that you feel in the body mind that you have. And two, the ways that, our environmental factors shape the way that we get to experience the same event or the same moment together. And frustratingly for disabled people, oftentimes that means a lot of energy before the thing, prepping for the thing, so you can get to go to the thing. Right. And then a lot of energy afterwards, healing and resting, because that thing took a lot from you.
Yeah. Well, we sure are glad to have your perspective and build awareness for people who are not, I think there is a misconception for people who are not yet disabled or immunocompromised that we are different on some level, instead of we're just at a different point in time. And at some point we are all going to be disabled or immunocompromised or not functioning in the way we expected to function. And it's unfortunate that so many people have to wait until they're actually affected to have that realization. So your voice and your writing is really opening people's minds. So thank you.
Thank
And
you.
it does come back to the accommodations that we put forward during COVID benefited everybody, and long-term considering disabled people's needs like the ADA was intended to benefit society beyond just disabled people. So selfishly, we should all be supporting these causes.
Yeah, it's the beauty of, we call it the curb cut effect, right? Curb cuts were kind of put in place because disabled people fought really hard for them, but they help people with strollers and they help so many other groups of people, right? Yeah. And hopefully someday remote access will be another one of those accommodations that we all get to share in.
Well, we sure hope so. And we were thrilled to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Stay cool out there in the wet bulb of New Jersey.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes,
thanks
very much appreciated.
Cheers. Yeah, that was really eye-opening. And it's just always so interesting to see a perspective of somebody who is deeply enmeshed and to know that all of that hypocrisy and selfishness and lack of empathy exists everywhere. So for fighting the good fight, Professor.
I do want to add that she says don't buy the book because it's meant for, scholars. No, it's her chapter at least is very accessible to everybody.
It's great.
It's not a research paper. It's a book, and I think a lot of people would appreciate it. So
I do too. Yeah, I loved her chapter, and I've been perusing her different articles on her website, which is in the description. I should have said all this before we dismissed her, let her go. But it's in the YouTube description, her website, and also the book again is called Do Less Harm: Ethical Questions for Health Historians. So thank you once again to Dr. Nicole Lee Schroeder.
Yeah, she was wonderful.
Yeah.
I will talk for a minute while you put up the wheel.
Okay. Oh, I know you don't trust me, but I did already set it up, and then
you got it ready to go.
I think it's going to be good. Let's make sure. Add to this.
Let's do it.
Look at that. Come on. Do you have a criticism?
No, but we don't have a wholesome as fuck. So there's that.
Well, you better find one.
We'll push some buttons. We're good. Spin that baby.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, well, I'm calling my own audible, and everyone else should also take care of him or herself and get whatever you need to continue medicating. But we got an ABAB.
We do, but we didn't have room to upload it, so we're gonna have to.
We do now, but I'll give you. Okay, while you're doing it, I'm just gonna do a different ABAB-ish. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
While you're doing yours, just because we didn't call this out the other day, and it just feels so cringe to me on like 20 different levels. So there was the whole Coldplay thing at the concert where they did the kiss cam, right? And the CEO of this company, Astronomer, I don't even know what they do, was caught with his arms around the woman he was having an affair with, who happened to be a new hire for their HR department. And even though they were both in relationships, he definitely married with children. And it was awkward. People made fun of it, all that kind of stuff. We had the Phillies doing their take on it, and kiss cams all over the country doing different things. This, to me, all right, I'm just going to, anyway, Chris Martin, who's the lead singer of Coldplay, was previously married to Gwyneth Paltrow. Then how did they disengage from each other? Amicably parted ways? I don't know. They had a decoupling.
No
It was
idea.
a strategic, mature.
Oh, of course it
decoupling.
was.
Whatever. They made some announcement. Anyway, Astronomer, the company whose CEO and head of human resources were caught having an affair, hired her, and she's doing some PR for them.
Thanks
thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
Like, what the fuck? That's all. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's how you use your voice? Like, and to shill for a company? Like, what in the...
It's so gross to me that Astronomer is going to get a bump out of all this. You know, granted, I mean, I don't want to hold the whole company of workers back because of but it rots from the top. So that guy is the CEO. It's not just that he's having an affair. It's that his human resources person is who he's having an affair with.
And then fired the guy who got them the concert tickets.
Who got him caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't even get them caught. He just got them tickets. So it's just gross. She's gross. I can't stand her.
Yeah.
Sorry. She's just a capitalist hiding behind some hippie shit.
It's just, yeah. And by the way, just as a reminder, not that I think Karen Bass is so great here. Yeah. But she supported Rick Caruso, the billionaire Trump supporter. And I don't even know what Astronomer does, but do you know? I don't even know.
It's not AI. It's some bullshit work
Some
stuff.
tech data.
I really don't have any idea. Yeah.
Probably
it's
helping.
Cloud services or something. That's the vague, just who fucking knows. Zaina called it out. I'm salty today. I'm salty because I was at I started my day early at the DMV. That cannot put you in the right space for the rest of the day. So
yeah, no, that stinks.
I apologize.
That stinks. Anyway, did you get up the AVAB or no?
AVAB is ready to go. It's a short one, and it kind of relates to what we've been talking about.
Wait, okay. I was trying to upload a couple graphics we still needed. Who was that about? I missed the beginning.
They ran this whole thing during the whole song about Epstein and Trump. It's about Trump. It's about Trump. But on the screen, the song is First Class Loser.
Yeah.
And they dedicated the whole thing to him. And
that's awesome.
It's kind of nice.
That's very funny. That's funny. All right. Well, we have got some interesting news for the Democrats who thought that they were just going to lie back, wait for the country to dive deeper into despair and just hoover up all of the votes in the midterms. It might be a little bit more difficult than they imagined. They have now sunk to their lowest rating from voters in 35 years. Oh gosh, we're never going to be able to read this unless I put my they have been hoping that a voter backlash against the president will be powerful enough to restore the majority in the House in next year's midterm elections, much as it did during Trump's first term. But the Wall Street Journal poll shows that the party has not yet accomplished a needed first step in that plan, persuading voters that they can do a better job than Trump's party. On the whole, voters disapprove of the president's handling of the economy, inflation, tariffs, and foreign policy. And yet, in each case, the new Journal poll found voters nonetheless say they trust Republicans rather than Democrats to handle those same issues in Congress. In some cases, the disparities are striking. Disapproval of Trump's handling of inflation outweighs approval by 11 points, and yet the GOP is trusted more than Democrats to handle inflation by 10 points. I mean,
the Democrats, they have just shit the bed. I mean, you could not have the biggest layup of an election coming up, and your message is so empty, and people don't trust or believe you. They see that you're not fighting against any of this stuff legitimately. So they're on to you right now. And you're turning on all the decent sort of people trying to run in your party. The gig is up. Like, I thought in 2026, it would be the easiest.
Oh, damn it. We never wrote it down when you were like, oh yeah, Dems are going to do so well. Shit.
They still will.
I know. I'm sure, sort of.
They're going to take back, which is it? The Senate and the House. One of them's automatic. The other one's up for grabs.
Yeah.
But either way, it should be a blowout. It should be a sea change of an election. And it's going to be Democrats only have a 2 or 3 seat advantage, so they can't really stop Joe Manchin from voting with the Republicans,
Got to Fetterman it up. And this is interesting also because the other part could be, well, Republicans just take charge and do a thing, but voters see Dems as more corrupt than Republicans. I mean, that's amazing. Like that's different from policy, which I mean, they're both parties are awful on all of it, but like Dems at least used to give a little bit of lip service to, I mean, they don't, but actually they don't. That's the whole point. They give no lip service to anything.
Yeah. If you can't look not corrupt when you have this fucking circus clown running the show who literally steals things and puts his name on it and sells steaks on TV, and like he's the most obvious grifter on earth, and Democrats look more corrupt than him, and they're not even in power. So you're not in power to make these mistakes that people can point to and go, look how corrupt you are.
Yeah. Like right now, they're not the ones who are kicking people off of Medicaid or continuing this horrific war, genocide, which is finally actually even getting notice of Democrats and, corporate media because of starvation, rounding people up, throwing them in dungeons, like all of that. And Democrats are still seen as more corrupt. And the lesson that so many of them were trying to take from Zohran Mamdani's win was, well, he checks all the boxes. He's younger. We need younger people. And he can go on the different talk shows. He can go on the podcasts. He can do these fun videos. That's what we need. It's not about policy. We just need that, because he's a little bit troubling when it comes to how terrified he makes Jewish New Yorkers feel because of all of his enormous anti-Semitism. So unfortunately,
he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
For the record,
100%, because he actually leads among Jewish voters. He leads all of the other candidates among Jewish voters, especially ones under 45 years old. He leads in every demographic. I mean,
this is where this is where these journalists, they give up the game as well, because it's so obvious they're not doing a journalism. Because if you're doing a journalism and some guy comes on your show and says that about Mamdani, you bring up that statistic. Well, why is he then leading among Jewish people? Let's hear your response to that. What do you have to say?
And instead,
they don't do that because they're doing the bidding of the Democratic Party.
100%, and make up a completely fake situation that he needs to apologize for, according to them, about would you condemn. They can't say, I don't know why they didn't just start with, would you condemn Hamas? Because that I bet he would have condemned. I don't know if he would have had as thoughtful an answer as Mahmoud Khalil had, which I loved. But to have him continuously asked about globalized intifada, which he never said, but we should all say every day, because he's making Jews feel unsafe We had Josh Shapiro, who has, ambitions to be president, saying he left open far too much space for extremists to either use his words or for him to not condemn the words of extremists that said some blatantly anti-Semitic things. Even Bernie Sanders, who did endorse him, said to be more careful of his words. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean, the extremist is him. He's the extremist taking his words out of context because they weren't even his words, first off. So you fabricated this whole thing, and then you're saying, well, this vague thing that he may or may not, he left room for it. That's the new way they're putting it. Like, whether he said it or not isn't really the question. The question is, how do people perceive it? And I'm going to say he's a radical and extremist, so you should perceive it the wrong way. But meanwhile, he's got all this Jewish support.
I mean, it is, those statistics, those polls are really pretty, they are incredibly clear that he has more Jewish support than any of the other candidates. Also interesting was which were his top policies for voters. Plans to lower costs, plans to tax the wealthy, but third was support for Palestinian rights. And in the, Democratic autopsy of the huge, humiliating, disastrous loss, second loss in 8 years to Donald J. Trump, Democrats don't mention Palestine at all. So that became a non-issue in their minds, like as they're doing their autopsy.
Well, behind the scenes, I'm sure they all know. It's not a secret. They know that this is what cost them, but now it's starting to eke into when it hits the pod save boys and they're saying Democrats need to change their tune. There's really going to be, I said sea change earlier, but I'm going to say it again. Like, the pod save boys don't say something that isn't already part of strategy within the party. Like, I think their party is trying to pivot on this issue.
Yeah.
So they can pretend, because they don't have power, so they can pretend for the next 2 years to be on the right side of Palestine.
Yeah. But
not that they're going to, but
they're only doing it right now. And I really don't understand what the shift was. Like, I actually really don't understand. I guess, seeing the indiscriminate use of bombs that destroy whole towns, universities, schools, hospitals, bakeries, mosques, like that wasn't enough for 21 months, but seeing starving babies, which is horrific, but like that was the tipping point for them. I really don't get it.
Well, I get it completely.
Tell me.
This is why I'm brilliant.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm just kidding.
This will combat your thing that Trump will never be the nominee for 2024. Go ahead.
Well, the reason they get it now is we're getting closer to election time. That's it. That's it. Period. They didn't see the light in the news. It's just that they couldn't bury the story. It didn't go away. They know internally how bad this is for them.
Right.
That's the only reason they're pretending to pivot on this at all. It's not that they suddenly saw some pictures, because they've seen these pictures for fucking years.
Yeah. I think, and also now that it's beyond the point of no return, so this is a small wedge of time where they can insinuate themselves to cry out against what's happening before it's complete and the final solution is over.
Yeah. And as you always say, this is the point when they're like, we were always against it.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed with this.
Yeah. So this is Pete Buttigieg's assessment of the situation, in case anybody thought he had gotten any better in the last year and a half since we had to hear from him.
I think that he also, just as a matter of campaign strategy, was omnipresent. He was everywhere. He's going on podcasts. He was doing social media. And so I think a lot of more conventional political operatives didn't see him coming.
Andrew Cuomo had a more conventional media campaign.
For sure. And I think in many ways, he, in addition to the moral disqualifications that went with his history, he just didn't, if anything, he reminded, I think, a lot of people of the status quo. So I think a lot of people are focused on the leftism, the ideological leftism, that I think we shouldn't be so surprised that prevailed in a New York Democratic Party primary. But I think if my party wants to learn lessons from Mamdani's success that are portable to a place like Michigan, where I live, it's less about the ideology and more about the message discipline of focusing on what people care about and the tactical wisdom of getting out there and talking to everybody.
I mean, that's like AOC level word salad. What are you talking about? It's not about ideology. It's about the issues that matter to your voters.
And it's also just flat wrong, because if you get out there on podcasts more often as a centrist, you're going to get skewered
100%
in every community. You are not going to survive that. Kamala Harris, if she went on more podcasts, she would have lost harder and faster.
And what Mayor Pete would say, well, it's message discipline, but all she ever did was talk about how she grew up in a middle-class home and she has that $25,000 tax rebate for people who buy a home. So she was totally, and joy. It's all about joy. I mean, it is so gross. And then, oh my God, am I going to make you all suffer through this? I am. Because this is another person being touted by the same corporate media who works for the DNC. Like, hey, the next Zoran candidate just dropped. This is the guy who is challenging Nadler in New York. And they are seeing him. This is how they're pushing him as similar to Zoran. See if you can spot some differences.
The Democratic Party is dying. We're losing votes.
The last 8 members of Congress who have died, all of them are Democrats.
The suffocating gerontocracy.
Older incumbents should step aside.
Losing elections.
Why are Republicans doing a better job of electing young leaders?
Losing our democracy.
Democrats are not taking this issue seriously, but they need to.
And the leaders who got us here are refusing to retire with devastating consequences.
Roe versus Wade is overruled.
In the last 5 months, 3 House Democrats passed away, allowing Trump's billionaire bill gutting health care and food stamps for millions of people to go through by 1 vote.
The motion is adopted.
The same people are using the same old tactics, but they're losing. They're telling us to give them 10 more years in office, even as they say,
I'm not sure there's much we can do about it. We will have to wait.
Really? I'm Liam Elkind. I'm a community organizer, Rhodes Scholar, and nonprofit CEO. I was born and raised in New York City and went to public school here. And when COVID hit, I didn't wait. I put my phone number on a flyer and started delivering food to seniors and others in need.
Visible Hand CEO Liam Elkind.
Over 10,000 volunteers
to shop for the city's most vulnerable.
More than 20,000 deliveries in New York City alone.
Soon, thousands of volunteers stepped up to join me, delivering food to tens of thousands of people.
Liam helped thousands of seniors just like me.
If you called the government hotline and asked for help getting food, they said to call me. But people's lives shouldn't depend on one person picking up his phone. Our leaders need to answer the call now, and they aren't. So today, I'm respectfully asking my Congressman Jerry Nadler to consider retiring. I appreciate his 50 years in office. I grew up voting for him, but we need new leaders to meet this moment because we can't wait. We can't wait to actually fight Trump, end corruption, ban corporate PAC money, impose term limits, build more housing, and serve our neighbors in need. I'm Liam Elkind, and I'm running for Congress because we can't wait.
Dean Phillips, anyone? And that's what it feels like, right? He's like a 25-year-old Dean Phillips because he's like, I voted for Jerry Nadler. I'm all in. I'm an abundance guy. We need to build more housing. I'm serving meals to elderly people during COVID with no mask. What? But like no policy. Nothing.
Yeah, well, he's running on the progressive-ish policy he did of delivering the meals, which I'm good for him on that. I mean, but not probably spreading COVID, which he probably was running around giving them all COVID. But that's his thing.
Some
what
funding,
else?
Some like NGO funding for a project.
And it feels like strategy from the guy. Like he planned it a year ago, 2 years ago with COVID to run now. Like, it's like McKenzie stuff, probably.
I mean, he looks exactly up like that for sure. Yeah.
But it does remind me of identity politics, like the first trans person elected to Congress, for example. Here we go. What's her first bill? It's helping private equity and hedge fund billionaires prey on the working class. And she sold it as a benefit to Black women in marginalized community. This is abundance.
Yep.
This is the deregulation shit that Democrats are making their whole fucking 20. They want it to be abundance versus progressivism. And that's why their poll numbers are in the shitter. Nobody is buying this crap.
Yep.
We're
Nobody
cheering
is.
for
It's not
fucking
helping anybody.
every. I mean, we just had another CEO death, and everyone's like, "Hell yes!" And it's a woman too. Like, it's a white woman, and everyone's still like, "Hell yes!"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, young people have no allegiance to the Democratic Party. Why would they? Democrats have done nothing good for them. Like, if you're a millennial or Gen Z, you've lived through 2 economic disasters, nonstop war, a global pandemic, nothing to address climate disaster, no increase in wages, you're priced and like a crippling debt for your education, and then exiting school with that lifelong debt to find that there's no market for jobs. And we've had
you can't afford to rent a place by yourself. Like, young people all live together. I mean, not all, this is obviously a generalization, but when I was growing up, you got your first job, you could afford an apartment on your own.
Yep.
That's just it. Job, apartment. And now you're like, job, 3 roommates in an apartment meant for 1 person.
Yeah. Or you're living at home still.
Postgraduate even.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I feel, well, first of all, I'm happy because Asher's living at home for a while, so I don't want to say anything bad about it because I love it. But there is a part of me that feels like, in other countries, there's a reason that you don't go off and live somewhere else. Like, why would you just give more money to somebody else? There is a home. It's such a capitalist sort of like individuality and go off and do your own thing. You can still do your own thing and, not have to pay another large amount of money. But I mean, I totally agree with you. Right after I graduated, came out here on my own, and nobody can do that.
Culturally,
anymore.
it's very
you don't
different.
even have that option. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like in Italy, for example, a lot of people live at home until they're ready to get married, for example.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a lot more normalized. And this generation in the US, it's going to be more normalized to be at home until you're in a well-established job, at least, because it's too unaffordable. Yeah. Like, it's reasonable to I don't think anyone 25 or younger is judging someone 25 or younger that they meet who's living at home. Where in my generation, it would have been more of a stigma to it.
100%. 100%. But I think because Democrats have failed so spectacularly, there's no vestigial like, oh, FDR Dems. Like, this is clearly just not that party, right? It's just not. And it hasn't been for a really long time. And so there is an enormous opening for anybody who sticks to his or her values, has integrity. And again, like, I am waiting for the massive disappointment that's going to come with Zoran Mamdani one way or the other. But for right now, what I love is that he is elucidating the deep rot in the Democratic Party that, Richie Torres and Hakeem Jeffries, both New Yorkers, have not endorsed him, that this lie was fabricated, that he makes Jewish New Yorkers feel unsafe. And meanwhile, he has more Jewish support than any of the other candidates. So all that part of it gives me a small morsel of hope that I will never vote for somebody who does genocide. Like, if that's not your red line, you don't have red lines, and I don't care about anything else. Because if you can abide that, if you can send us all back to work to get repeatedly infected with a deadly, debilitating virus, if you don't advocate for higher wages and housing and free healthcare, like, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, why would I even waste the time walking in to do that, to vote for you?
And I think the support for Israel really brings it all forward, where you look at that and you're like, that support only happens because you're beholden to donors and people above you on one level or another. So like the odds of you helping me on healthcare when you're just cool with the genocide, like you got pressure to support a genocide, so you're supporting it. So I don't really think you're gonna get healthcare for me either, because all the big pharma, medical industrial complex insurance companies that are getting rich off this, they're gonna have a lot of pressure on you too. And you didn't even push back on genocide. So no, I'm not here for you.
Yeah. Do you have integrity to stand up for what's right? So just going back to, before we move on to Republicans, big news, Kamala is not running for governor of California. And I don't know if she thinks that that's leaving her some space now to run for president, which I can't imagine, although this was,
I was just going to say,
ago. Yeah.
I was going to say that reads as good news, bad news.
Yeah.
When I saw that headline, I thought, ooh, that means she's going to run for president. 1000% she is in. I guarantee it.
Has she said one word about this genocide since she left the stage?
She's barely said anything. And that's the only reason she's surviving on those polls. It's the same thing. Go on a podcast. Let's follow all that advice. Kamala, go on some podcasts and let's watch that number.
Tell us your ideas to save the country. Yeah.
Like one podcast puts her like 50th ranking within the Democrats. Like I guarantee it. One leftist or centrist even
just
podcast.
Stick to your joy branding and message discipline. I mean, that is such the giveaway, right? Like if you care about this country, like listen, you and I and all of us, we all care about this country so much that we can't shut up about it, right? Like and the world, like it is horrifying to see what's happening. We all feel like we need to be doing something. What should we be doing? We need to point out the people who aren't doing something, who could be doing something. She was the next in line to be the most powerful person in the whole world. She wanted that spot because she was going to, save the country, save the world, had some big plans. Get out there and talk to everybody about it. You know, when Bernie left the stage, and again, like we can all have it, but like when he was booted from the primary in 2016 and then in 2020, he didn't stop talking about his plans and what he thought would help the country. What's her plan? What is it? Why should we give anybody a job who does, like, she's a public servant in what way?
Yeah. And I do want to rescind something I said earlier about she doesn't have to go on a centrist podcast, a left podcast. She could go on a CNN scripted podcast and her numbers would drop. That's how bad she is at this whole thing.
Yeah.
And she is probably going to come out the number one contender at the jump of the primaries.
But I think just like in 2019, 2020, when they tried it with her and Beto O'Rourke, like,
oh, she'll sink. She's going to sink
so fast. Yeah.
So fast this time.
She'll just take all that money. They'll send you tons of texts and emails and the dupes will, send it right back because you're going to save democracy or whatever the fuck. And she will, she will use that money to get Beyonce to come do a show for her or stand up for her. She didn't even do a show, or like to redecorate the Who's Your Daddy set. I mean,
yeah.
But she is coming in, sixth? Betting odds as three rivals take the early lead. So just as a reminder, we've got Gavin Newsom, AOC.
Who California hates.
Yeah. AOC, who just voted for more weapons for a genocidal rogue apartheid country. And Pete Buttigieg, who worked at McKinsey, which should be disqualifying, like right away. If that's part of your resume, I think that's enough.
Yeah. Like, number 4 is Josh Shapiro.
Yeah.
Who didn't become VP because of his scandal protecting the guy in his own state that was buddies with him who murdered his wife. You think that scandal is just going to go away and he's going to move on up in the party?
Yeah. So anyway, not looking great for Democrats. Let's turn our attention to Republicans, who are not faring much better. We got Trump approval rating from the beginning of his term to now, and again, the young people vote and the podcast guy vote, Manosphere or whatever, was what Democrats kept saying was the difference maker. That was why it was the podcast and his appeal to young people, and he felt like an outsider, whatever, all their dumb reasons that they think that Trump was doing well. But Republicans also were touting the fact that there was a huge shift in demographics, especially with young men. But now that has dropped precipitously, and they are his worst cohort right now. But he's underwater in every age bracket. But the fact that Republicans are still doing worse is crazy.
Democrats, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw your thing that our wheel dropped. I can't do. I have a hard time multitasking.
No, it's okay. I know we're moving on from Democrats.
Yeah,
we're moving on from Democrats, but I think we should watch Cory Booker, and I don't want to set it up at all. Let's just show it.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is it? Where's Cory Booker? Did he go away?
Did you put it in? Because at one point you said we didn't have room for it, and then I made room, but I don't know if you put it in.
Oh.
No.
I don't see it.
All right. Why don't you do that while we just because I realized I did switch gears. So why don't you add it while there is a pack
for a second or two.
Yeah. There is a pack in New York, the billionaire guy, because I think Reid Hoffman is supporting that Liam guy. What's his last name? Liam. I already deleted it because for God's sakes, Liam something kind. Elkind. Reid Hoffman, is the billionaire who was one of the spokespeople for Kamala Harris during her run, and who said that they were definitely going to get rid of Lena Khan, who was kind of like the only good thing about the whole Biden administration. So he's this disgusting billionaire, which I know that's redundant, but and he's funding that guy. But there's also a Trump supporter who is charging, I think, $25,000 to hop on a Zoom call to discuss how to get rid of Zohran Mamdani. But his plan, so you need $25,000 just to get on, this is the party of the people, just to get on that Zoom call. And what he wants to do is push Eric Adams to stay in power. So don't say Democrats don't have a vision.
Yeah, they're just rehabbing people. Like they hate him in New York. I mean, he is not well loved at all. He's just a selfish, narcissistic douchebag. He exposed himself. Everybody knows it.
Yep.
And this is a mega billion-dollar pact to bring him back to life politically.
I mean,
the absurd. Mamdani is going to smoke them all in this election.
I mean, I really hope so. I know, already. What did he say? Something about what was the first thing that was a little bit of a chink in the armor of like, are you already capitulating? The thing about working with billionaires, I feel like, I mean, I gave him a pass on that because he's in New York, which is, the wealthiest city in the world or in the country. I don't know the world, and the home to Wall Street. Like if he wants to be mayor of the whole city, he is going to have to talk with them at least. Possibly he could have phrased it in a more militant way, but okay. But then he said something about
Israel that people disliked,
like a two-state solution or something. Yeah. Although his
it was that Israel had.
Yeah.
I know. It was that Israel had a right to exist, and it's like
no, but he said as a democratic state.
Right. I know, but that was the moment that the people got mad at, that he wasn't.
Yeah.
But in his own defense, in that moment, he also pivoted to the atrocities Israel is committing. So it wasn't like a softening of his position in my mind. It was the right answer, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. But now the third thing that's happening is there was just this shooting in New York on Monday where a man drove from Las Vegas, Nevada on Friday to New York. He had I think a suicide note that said, "I'm sorry, do research on CTE." He had been a high school football player. And so that was a possible reference to him thinking that he had some brain damage. He went into the building that houses the NFL corporate offices, apparently took the wrong bank of elevators, and still started shooting. And he ended up killing 4 people, one of whom was an executive at BlackRock, which is buying, single family homes and pricing people out of being able to afford their homes.
Yeah. Her division that she was the CEO of is literally probably the most evil division within BlackRock.
Is this the one? Yeah.
Which is debatable because they're such scumbags.
Yeah.
But her job was to acquire properties and invest BlackRock money in these housing places that basically raised all of our rents because they bought thousands of homes, thousands of apartment complexes
and single family homes. And then, yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Cheers. I don't know about the other 3, but I'm going to cheers that he picked one good one at least.
And now people, on both sides, Zohran Mamdani is getting pushback because he is thanking our brave men and women in blue, the cops, because there was also a police officer who was killed. So he's already softening his language about police, which is upsetting to the left, who want to defund the police. And clearly the police didn't do anything to prevent this. So it really does just work towards what the ideas behind defund the police are. Not that we think that people should go around shooting other people, but it's that police are not an effective prevention measure to that. And that money actually exacerbates so many of the issues that we have in this country, in addition to the violence and the Gestapo tactics. And we could use that money better. We could have possibly had, some kind of social benefits for a kid who is despairing about his mental condition. Gun laws could be more stringent. There are a whole host of issues that possibly could have worked to prevent this tragedy. So, but at the same time, when a member of a community is killed, it's hard as the person who wants to be mayor of that broader community not to say anything kind about his passing.
Yeah.
Lose-lose.
It's a tough position. It is lose-lose. I mean, it's not the time probably to educate them on the whole big picture. Right. But if you do think about it, since this was, according to the narrative they're putting out, somebody suffering from mental illness due to CTE, on the cop level at the end is not the time to treat that. The time to treat that is along the way, just like preventative medicine, why we want Medicare for all. So he could have pivoted to some of that, which, the right loves that narrative that it's mental illness when there's a shooting. So that's like an easy sort of, he could have, and he's eloquent enough to do it. So I don't love how he handled it, but I also understand too. So not to apologize for these guys.
No, I know. I just, I think that is going to come up repeatedly because there is crime. So there's going to have to be a response that fits the ideology you claim to have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my response to that would be, because personally, I'm not an abolitionist entirely. Right. Like I know a lot of people are, and I respect that. But my belief is it's more about defunding, and we're still going to have the cops to handle these violent incidents.
Right.
And you just say it like that.
Yeah.
But we also are going to recognize that there are better departments to handle a lot of other incidents. And some of those, if they were funded better, might have prevented this.
Yeah. Because cops did not prevent this. Clearly, it wasn't prevented. He walked in, and there are pictures of him. He has like a semi-automatic walking down the street. Where were the cops arresting some poor guy
looking on their cell phones?
Either on their cell phones or arresting somebody who showed up for his immigration appointment and, hauling him off to a dungeon. So, yeah.
And they're making like $200K a year while they do this nothing.
Yep.
So I got the Booker uploaded.
All right, let's see it.
Let's just hear his outrage, because I love Booker's outrage at all times.
That's why I'm standing here. Don't question my integrity. Don't question my motive. I'm standing for Jersey. I am standing for my police officers. I'm standing for the Constitution, and I'm standing for what's right. And dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me, because there's too much on the line right now in America. As people's due process rights and freedom of the speech rights and secret police are running around this country, picking people up off the streets who have a legal right to be here. There's too much going on in this country. When are we going to stand together for principles that I just heard that were agreed with? When are we going to stand together?
So the important part here, he pivots to all the outrage with ICE and the people on the streets getting taken off. This speech was to get more funding for cops.
Oh my God. Are you kidding?
That was to get more money for cops. That's what a piece of shit he is. And let me also tell you how fake that is. I literally was at in 2020 when Bernie was running, I was at the LA Democratic Convention. I was like 10 feet away from all these guys, him, Pete, all the billionaire guy, Tim, whatever. And Booker turns it on and off like an actor. He is an actor. He had a moment like that on camera. And then as soon as he stepped away, he's joking around with this other guy. And then he turns it back on when they ask him a question. It's phony as fuck. And I think most people see it, but a lot of people don't. But he is absolutely the phoniest fucker I've seen in politics. Like, he's an actor.
Yeah, I'm sure he has some merch that goes with that. That little boy was me or something, t-shirts and a book, The Stand, Yeah. And also that he even, like, why is he talking about arrests, like that he's upset with the horrific arrests that are happening, but he wants to fund more cops? Like, it's not even cogent.
That's it. I know. He's
just talking. Because that's the thing is Democrats said, we hear you, we see you, the people, voters, they want a fighter. It doesn't even matter what you're fighting for. They just want a fighter. I mean, that's what that David Hogg, who they got rid of, said, right? We just need fighters. We're not going to get rid of Pelosi or Hakeem Jeffries, even though they're corrupt pieces of shit, because they, act the part. I mean, it's all pretend, and they don't care about anything but their careers and their bank accounts. All right.
Moments like this and moments like Booker when he had his 24 hours or whatever,
36
filibustering.
No, was it
36 hours?
I don't remember. Know. Whatever. Yeah.
They don't work. People are so in need of actual help and people to fight this that you come out and talk too long. It's just seen as what it is now, I think. And I think he got more backlash than he got good press out of that. I would hope. At least he did online.
I mean, it's humiliating. Who is it for? Like, who is that even for?
It's for Pete Buttigieg, so he could be his running mate.
Oh my God. Can you even imagine? We forgot to, I know that was what you were telling me. We forgot to spin the wheel before we moved on to Republicans. So we are bringing up the wheel to see what we got here.
Yeah, baby.
I just wanted to make sure you had it up because it wasn't in the back.
It disappeared for some reason. Oh my God. Are you kidding? All right. Spin it again. Okay. Yeah. While I'm spinning again, I do just want to say that in the midst of this horrific genocide, Leonardo DiCaprio is building a huge luxury hotel on the coast in Israel.
Yeah.
So
can we cancel him already?
Yeah. ABAB.
Yeah, baby.
Boy, they really want us to do the ABAB. Okay.
I think officially time to just override and do a
Okay.
puppets.
Okay, but I am gonna pour more wine.
Okay, we weren't sure. Did we do dogs and shoes last week, or cats and tails? Anyone?
I think we did the dogs and shoes a while ago. Does anybody remember? But
Dogs and
I
shoes.
don't remember
All
anybody.
right, we'll play
anybody.
cats and tails. You're stuck with
Until
it
we-
because you didn't answer.
Okay.
Huh?
Tail it is.
That was very cute. That was very cute. And nobody said anything about the dog shoes.
I don't think we showed it.
Okay, good. All right, good. So that we know we have for the next time. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just because I want to, get it right. So he was just approved for a luxury project partnering with what is the group? Hagag Group, I think.
Hagag.
Yeah. In Herzliya, north of Tel Aviv. And the thing that I think is so funny is that it says somewhere, was it in that part or it was somewhere else here about, I guess I can't find it. But part of the caption was, because of all of his environmental concerns, they want to make sure that this luxury hotel is up to, green codes.
Not genocide. Not that part doesn't matter.
Not about genocide, not about what, the bombs and the toxic rubble and the obliteration of a whole people are, it just, we would like to.
Let me just throw it out there that I think it's a guarantee that he pulls out of this project now that it's got an intention. Just like Oprah opened up her road.
That would have been a good ABAB too.
Right.
That was crazy. First of all, so just in case anybody did not already hear about it, we didn't really pull much on it because I think she had already rectified the situation. She got called out on it pretty quickly. But as the warnings, because of the earthquake in Russia that was going to cause tsunamis, and there were tsunami watches and warnings, and people were evacuating in Maui, and Oprah Winfrey, who has this enormous estate, also closed off formerly public roads, as did Obama when he, bought his estate. But she quickly opened them up. But already, just because she closed off access to those roads, there were people talking about how their trip to work was 3 times as long now because some billionaire had to take over a public road. Access to beaches are completely privatized now by these people who have to own everything.
And we're talking in Hawaii, where the natives in Hawaii, I'm not sure if that's the right word to use. Sorry, but the indigenous people in Hawaii don't want us to go vacation there. Just so you know, they're over it. They're over us going to their state, their land where they grew up. And for Oprah to be there of all people, and she's bragging that, well, they came out and did PR work after the fact.
Yeah.
That, this is all untrue. We called them right away and said, use our roads. Well, how about you don't have to call? It's a fucking road. You should have a system in place somehow that alleviates needing your fucking Oprah permission to fucking save people's lives.
Everything has to be owned and privatized in these people's pathological greed. Access to to roads, to the ocean, to water. We really need to construct a totally parallel system to these people, because we're not overtaking it.
And not that we need to remind anybody, but I want to. And Audrey, I just looked over, you brought it up, but like, Oprah's responsible for a lot of the worst fucking people becoming popular.
That's right.
Fucking Dr. Oz is now in charge of our health.
Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. Yep.
A gimmick on her show.
Yep.
The guy's
got his own show
the whole time. He sold his own products, and he always told people, I don't sell anything and make money off it. And he didn't do it the whole time. He's a total fucking phony fraud. This guy, Oprah built him up just like she built up Mr. Phil, who's a MAGA fucking nutty Republican.
Yep. Why is that allowed? Like, we didn't get to vote on it. You know, if in a democracy, we should be able to have a say in the fact that AI is going to take over all of our jobs, but it's also poisoning the air, stealing the water. I mean, we really do need more Luigi's. More Luigi's. Yeah.
We may have two. We may have two now. That's all I'm saying.
He died by suicide, the second guy.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying the outcome, like Luigi 1 isn't going to continue if that's the Luigi they got.
Yeah.
The outcome, you know, look, one way or another, you got the worst CEO executive in healthcare.
Yeah.
You got the worst BlackRock person, probably. So
one of them for sure. Yeah. I mean, she can't be the worst, because is that Larry Ellison? No, well, anyway, yeah, but I get your point for sure.
I mean, it's one of the most harmful divisions. I mean, it's affecting the economy more. Yep. It's homeless people are like, if you want to blame someone for homelessness, she's the top CEO in charge of making people homeless.
Yeah. I think that's Pat. He just got a new microphone, and I am hearing
clipping or something, or what?
Staticky every once in a while.
Staticky?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's right, Saul Fink. I can't remember his first name, but yeah. Yes. I mean, listen, these people are committing social murder every day of their lives, denying us health care. They make more money, poisoning our water, our food, our air, stealing our land, stealing our labor, making sure that we can't afford homes, and then criminalizing homelessness. I mean, like, they are pure evil, and I endorse your message 100%. Only one of us can get hauled off at a time, because otherwise there's no show. So when that door knocks. Okay, so let's just quickly go back to what's happening with the GOP with okay, Trump approval we just did. Oh, is this the exact same thing? Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Two of the exact same ones. And your economy, it's much worse by all accounts, from people who had said that they expected it was going to be better, are now saying it was almost 50% thought that Trump would make the economy better. And now it's down to 15%.
And think about it. 50% thought the economy would be better, and they know it's terrible, and they know he's a fascist, and they hate all these policies, and they're still like, he's probably better at this than the Democrats. That's how bad the Democrats are. That's how much of a need we have to ditch this whole left-right, our guy's going to save us on the left. Like, no.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, what's happening in Israel is horrifying. And for a while, Trump was selling himself as the peace candidate. He was going to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, which still persists. He came in with a ceasefire that had been negotiated with Steve, Witkoff. I don't know if that's his first name, but anyway. And now he's just like, you know, level it, finish it. He did go against Netanyahu's saying that nobody was really starving. There's been this whole onslaught from the Hezbollah people saying that it's not really starvation because there's tons of food, but also it's the UN's fault for not distributing food, but also the UN has Hamas working for it and they are stealing all the food. But also, well, even though that baby is really skinny, his mom and his brother standing next to him look like they're eating plenty. But also this person, this little baby did just die of starvation, but also he had an underlying condition. That's the New York Times proffering a correction to their article to say that they made a mistake when they published the picture on the front page of a mother holding her dying baby who then died, that he actually had an underlying condition, as though that it's like, you know, the whole COVID thing of dying with COVID or dying from COVID, because that child still died of starvation. And plenty of other children are starving adults.
I guarantee if you looked up, if they didn't get into it, but what is his underlying condition? And did he have access to medicines for his underlying condition? And the answer to that is obviously not, because they don't have medicine at all to treat most people in Gaza. It's That's just, right. If you don't have food, you probably don't have all these other things, and they don't. And the doctors are starving.
Yeah, the doctors are fainting and starving. And the mother was then interviewed, and she said that when she was pregnant with, I think he had some form of muscular dystrophy. She was pregnant with him at the end, delivered him at the end of 2023. And when he was delivered, or soon after, they saw that he had possibly some, abnormalities. And they said it was because she was malnourished during her pregnancy because of the complete siege on Gaza that started on October 8th, but was already in the complete siege where they just stopped everything. Yoav Gallant said there'll be no water, no electricity, no food. But even before that, they were counting calories, trying to, keep people just barely alive. So that was the cause of his underlying condition, was already Israel's genocidal actions. And yes, as Saul points out, Anne Frank died of typhus. So you could say she wasn't killed by Nazis. She died of typhus.
And to bring this back, like we always do, to the intersectionality of all this stuff, this is why the narrative of COVID, it's just the disabled people. It's just people who have disabilities. It's getting used here for a genocide. Like, it's just somebody, it's just a baby that was already sick. So yeah, she starved a little, but like really that didn't kill her, that she starved. And you see the picture of her, like this is why it matters that we all fight for everything. Like COVID matters. Like I just can't beat people over the head with it enough. Like, and then pretending that COVID deaths because people had a pre-existing condition don't matter. Well, you're going to get cancer from COVID, probably. I mean, that's like half of us who,
or it will reactivate dormant cancer. They just came out with a huge study for breast cancer. It reactivates dormant breast cancer genes. Yep.
Right. So, if you don't believe if you think that these pre-existing condition people shouldn't have protections so that they don't get COVID, which is going to kill them because they have a pre-existing condition, well, it leads to you to just say, well, pre-existing condition for this baby over in Iraq. I mean, in Palestine.
Yeah. I mean, that really, listen, we all know that with climate, right? I mean, that's sort of what radicalized me in 2010, 2011, 2012. And it's like, what are we going to do? There's nobody's done anything. We've been talking about this for decades now, and we've taken no steps to improve our carbon output. And so we know that the plan is some of you will die, and it's a sacrifice the ruling class is willing to make. Some of us will die. And then it was with a global pandemic, and it's a genocide. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's horrible. So
yeah, just go forth and Luigi. That's the moral of the story here.
It really is.
Just
so Adria mentioned, I mean, I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but the Alyssa Slotkin interview on Breaking Points, I have to say, I mean, first of all, I mostly really like Crystal Ball anyway. Sometimes with COVID, I get upset, but like, I think she's pretty great. She was fantastic. And so was Sagar. He pushed back and they were polite, but they were the way I wish that every journalist would be with everybody in power every single time there's an interview. This is like, these people should not socialize. There should be no access journalism. They are your enemy. You are supposed to reveal their secrets and their corruption. You hold them to account. You don't need to be gentle with anybody. You ask them questions because your job is to reveal the truth. And they did a great job. This is a clip, and it's a clip it's the Breaking Points clip, but it was, there is an overlay done by APAC Tracker to reveal when Alyssa Slotkin is lying about the money that she has taken from different Jewish lobby groups in the US. You won't be able to read it, but I just want you to know that that's what's happening. It's like sourcing that, no, she was getting money from all these different Jewish lobby groups well past when she says she stopped taking it. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that the interview was like, was it 15 minutes?
Yeah.
It was a long interview. And it's really amazing how bad she looks and how they stick to their guns on her. Like I've had really my beefs with Crystal as well. And, but it's almost always COVID is the only thing with Crystal.
Yeah, same.
But otherwise, this was amazing. I loved it. And
it was great. All right. So this is about 3 minutes of it, just so you know.
I have to ask your last question because your staff is telling us, do you think APAC should register as a foreign lobby?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that I know plenty of people who think they should. Mm-hmm. I don't.
It's kind of a cop-out answer, don't you think?
I mean, yeah. I literally, I just guess I'd have to look at the definition. I certainly have had my tough moments with that organization. And
so you stop accepting their funding?
You got to get your facts straight. I have not been endorsed by APAC. I have not. I'm sorry. I was the first Jew elected to the Senate that was not endorsed by any Jewish group. APAC, J Street.
You've been the recipient of their funds.
In 2018, when I first ran, people who were members, yes. But I've not been endorsed since then. And I just got to be honest, like, I think that this is where facts really matter. I've had very, very difficult conversations with my colleagues in that organization and made a choice back in 2021. So that was the first time I was up for re-election. So I understand that there's a sort of, like, again, cornered position, but to me, like, I call balls and strikes as someone who served in the Middle East.
I have one more question I have to ask you. We do the show. I really do my best to try to uphold, like, basic human rights, Palestinian humanity, oppose the killing of innocent civilians wherever that happens. And I have to tell you, like, I feel really guilty that I'm not doing enough. I think all the time about, I'm a mom, I think all the time about those moms who can't feed their babies. Mm-hmm. Those babies are starving to death. And I just want to know, like, you're a United States Senator, you did vote for some of the bombs that were dropped on refugee camps. When kids have been sniped in the head, tents firebombed, people set on fire. The entire Gaza Strip turned into rubble. And now we're seeing these emaciated bodies of babies starving to death every day. And I
know what you can do.
Does it eat you up? Does it eat you up? Do you think, like, what more could I do? Do you regret any of your votes? Do you regret
let me tell
any
you what
sort
I
of
was working on this
complicity?
morning. A group of Jewish rabbis and Muslim community leaders came together with a proposal that we are working on just getting, like, if we can't get other aid in, at least get baby formula and nutritional supplements for children in. Let that be kind of a green light, never has a problem. No one's trying to eat baby formula other than a baby, right? That is the proposal that I've been working on all night and this morning. So in terms of what we're trying to do, there's not a moment that goes by that this isn't something that I'm working on and something that my own community, not online, but my own community has practical things that they want to do. They're willing to raise the money. They're willing to buy the formula. They're willing to do whatever we need to do to get it shipped in. That's how I spend my time.
But you're not willing to cut off aid to Israel.
That to me is the most effective thing that I can do today.
This is a subtle question. Your staff is telling us you absolutely have to go. So we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming.
Senator.
Thank you very much.
So she gets on her stupid, arrogant high horse to say that I was up all night long. You are 2 years and 76 years, 21 months and 76 years too late. It's too late. You're now raising money to try to get formula in. It's too late.
Yeah.
Over.
Let me tell you. Yeah, I funded the bombing of all those kids and babies, but we're working really hard to get fucking baby formula in for just like
we're not just
baby
online.
formula. Like we're not just doing nothing. We're gonna get baby formula in. Maybe we're trying real fucking hard.
Now, when we're already in the 5th level stage of famine, it's too late. And by the way, she just voted against. So this was 21 Democrat senators signed a letter demanding the U.S. cut funding to the GHF, which has directly led to mass starvation across Gaza and 1,000+ killings at aid sites. So they've already killed more people through their GHF aid sites than were killed on October 7th. So, and here are the Democratic senators who didn't sign. And guess whose name is there amongst a bevy of other despicable people? Her name. This was 2 days ago. So for her to say that now, 21 months in, that she's trying to get formula, like, and acting like you've got to get your facts straight. I know that it was like there's no way to look to really to see what that overlay from the APAC tracker was, but it is revealing what an like complete liar she is to make it sound like she has not been taking money from Jewish lobby groups. I had it somewhere and now I can't find it, but they wrote a whole thing about it. But anyway, she's despicable, and they did, I thought, a really good job of holding her to account. But there is no justifying this, and I really think that you remember she was like the rising star Democrat. Didn't she give the rebuttal to the State of the Union? Oh, you're muted.
And
you're muted. Oh yeah, there. You just came back.
Why is it the more I spend on this show, the worse things get? Like,
I'm
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
I know that's annoying. I'm so sorry.
I bought myself a new mic for my birthday, and
Happy
here it is
birthday.
causing hell for us. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But no, she can rot. She's a terrible person. She showed her ass. I love them for holding her to account. And no Democrat's going to go on their show for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean that's probably
you'll get Ro Khanna, who will give the leftist version of the leftist like tech bro version of reality, and Sagar will agree with Ro more than she will, but that's it. Like no other. A miracle that she went on that show, and good on them getting her. But
good on them getting her and not being polite.
No,
I was really
exactly. That's the.
But again, like it was, I felt myself, and I hate her. Like we all are on the same page on this. But I'm so unused to anybody being held to account at all for their lies and their repulsive actions that, like, I did sort of like. I felt uncomfortable for a second. I mean, I was thrilled to feel uncomfortable, but it is just so rare And none of these people should have a moment of peace. You know, the only person that anybody ever talks to like this is Trump or, you know, one of his lackeys, only on a, you know, a left-leaning show. But it's all just so insincere. And I think, you know, this is something that they both, I think, clearly feel passionately about. So that was,
well, you know what I just thought of? I mean, I was obviously it makes sense, but and Deborah made me think about that she has to be on this show. This is podcast strategy in effect right here.
Yeah.
Let's see how it helps her career.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is she going to be the next big fucking leftist? Or do we all like love her a little more?
Well, that's the other thing. She said that. She's like, we can all get along. She's like, you've got to get your facts right. And meanwhile, she lied, but they didn't have that information. Then I wish that they had, but okay. They also, there were a couple things I wish that they had come back on more strongly, but her big thing was, listen, I live in a place where I'm surrounded by Trump people. They didn't vote for me. You know, but we all get along, and I love the setup of your show, that you guys don't agree on everything, but we can still have real conversations. And the reason she can get along with her Trump neighbors is because mostly they agree on policy. The Trump neighbors maybe like it with a little bit more racism that's overt, but like policy, she's fine with their policy. She has no problem with that. That's why she gets along with her Trump neighbors, who are diehard Trump people. I'm not saying like working class people can't figure out a way or get along, or people can't come back to the fold or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But she thinks that she can insert herself there and just have a fun conversation. I don't think, because I've actually never seen them go so hard on anybody like that. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, but I mean, the one thing I'll say about their show is like, that's a big mistake for whoever advised her that she would be a pushover on this, because granted, they don't go, that's probably the hardest I've seen them on a guest ever, but yeah, I also they don't do propaganda. Like I believe both of them believe their positions, and that's that's why the show works. And
I agree. Even
though I think she's wrong on COVID, of course, but other than that, I love that she pushes people. And, you know, I like the debate of, you know, I wouldn't mind having a show where it was a right-wing person. You know, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's an interesting format.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't want it to be just like silly, you know, arguing back and forth kind of deal. But yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so it's 7, and I know we've kind of like pinballed around. We're into Israel mostly now. Do you like, should we just want to talk about which part of it? There were a couple of good clips because there are a couple of clips, and there's a bit of polling, which is interesting.
I think we should show all of that after.
Okay. Another spin.
We do a little wheel spin.
All right, here we go.
Or we should probably just pick it.
Yeah, just
let's
pick
spin
it.
Let's see.
All right, I'll spin it. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
We don't like it. We got to have some of the fun. Oh my God. They really, listen, maybe that's the thing, Pat. Maybe it's just all ABAB all the time, because the truth is we'd have a much better world if we didn't have.
Yeah, baby.
I think we need more. If we have some more Luigi, it's going to make this section a lot easier to do.
That's right. All right.
Let's see if we've shown the dogs and shoes by popular demand.
Let's see it.
With a skipper.
That is torture. Oh. Oh my God, that last one. That's some core strength there.
Okay, so the only thing I can say on the shoes, people are saying it's torture. In California, at least, people put shoes on their dogs because the asphalt burns their pads.
That's true.
Pads.
Yeah.
That's the main reason, I think.
Yes.
Generally, I think that's the real reason. Other than that, like mud and water.
Yeah. I know that's really hard. And where I live, we don't have a lot of sidewalks, so we have to walk on people's grass, and some people have a problem with that. Pat, just so everybody is aware, we are aware that there is some feedback or something going on. We'll fix it, but I just want you to know that that is happening. I don't know why.
Is it for me? So what's it sound like? I just want to figure it out.
It's just staticky every once in a while. Like it's fine, and then all of a sudden we'll just get some.
It'll just like drop some hiss or something.
Yeah. All right. We will fix it. Yeah. Okay. So moving on officially to Israel, just because this is, it's a winning issue because it is morally correct, but it is also a politically winning issue to take a firm stance against genocide. Do you approve or disapprove of the military action Israel has taken in Gaza? That has moved from 50% approval to 32% approval, and disapprove has moved from 45% to 60%. Most of this country is disgusted, horrified. You even have Marjorie Taylor Greene calling this a genocide. And listen, I don't care anything about what she does or says. We are worlds apart and everything. I don't even know why she's saying it, because I feel like nothing she does is genuine. So, I don't know who's paying her, but the fact that this is, I think it's turning, Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and the people who were initially credited as helping Trump gain young men are disgusted. So the fact that you have the rising Democrat come up and only talk about, baby formula, you have fucking AOC who is still going to vote to send more defensive weapons, which is such bullshit, to Israel as they commit genocide. It really shows you that our political leaders, I mean, I know we all know this, but they are so wildly out of step with the people they are supposed to be representing.
Here's how I feel about the defense stuff. And I said this before, but like, if your argument is we should send defense, and honestly, the interview we just.
Oh, Pat, it's out now. We can't even hear you. Are you muted? Really? I'm so sorry. I know he's really frustrated. I know this sucks. I'm really sorry. Can you just unplug it and just talk through your computer right now? The speaker of your computer? Do you want to hop out and come back in? All right. I'm so sorry. Okay. He's coming back. Okay. All right. Sorry. I know he's very, very frustrated. I totally get it. Okay. On the flip side, even though there are some Israelis who are finally protesting, it's very few, and certainly much more could have been done along these last 21 months and 76 years. Hello, welcome back.
Can you hear me?
There you go. That wasn't even 2 minutes. That was 2 seconds. You did it.
Beautiful.
So I was just about to show that in Israel, this is the polling in Israel that was just published by Haaretz. 82% of Israelis support ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and 65% of Israelis support Amalek, killing every man, woman, and child. So this is not, as Bernie Sanders wants to do all the time, and everybody else who is finally, calling out a little, like they say it's Netanyahu's government. Yeah, it's Netanyahu's government in the only democracy in the Middle East, lol, that voted them in. And they are actually representing their people, unlike our democracy, which does not. There are people, they have their kids like they're using their own children as human shields, blocking the aid trucks, lying in the street, blocking aid trucks, UN aid trucks. I keep biting my tongue, sorry. There is video of them taking the food out and the supplies and the aid and destroying it. I mean, this is a deeply, deeply sick society.
It is.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talk.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What I was going to say earlier is like this whole like, well, we're just going to fund defensive weapons. Okay, great. Can you tie that money to defensive weapons for Palestine as well?
Yeah. Because
they're the ones really. What about the kids that you want to struggle to get baby food for? Well, if you're going to put defensive weapons, if you're going to put billions of dollars, or at least mega millions of dollars into Israel's defense system, and you can't get a fucking security team around the food distribution, you can't get like 50 people that would shoot back at anyone trying to stop people from eating food. You can't do that. And you're going to pretend that defensive weapons matter. AOC is fucking hot garbage. It's bullshit. It's a lack. It's because she's as bought as all of them. That's all. It's not like a lack of creativity. Like, I just come out before the world and say, can we get 100 fucking people with M16s in front of the food distribution system that represent the U.S. since we now own half of this? And can we get one news person with the camera to record this? That's all it would take. And that's like $50,000.
And by the way, just open up the borders. Kimmy, thank you. Thank you so much. Cheers. Open up the borders and let UNRWA do what it has been doing peacefully and well for decades. That's the solution, right? And every dollar that they don't have to spend on their Iron Dome defense system, those are dollars that they can spend on the bombs they drop on Palestinians, right? So it's a zero-sum game. And if you are giving them money and aid, you are complicit in the genocide. That's all.
And we're not talking about a broke country either. Like they are very wealthy. They have the money to fund this without us unfunding our healthcare. Like we don't have healthcare because of a lot of this. I mean, MMT people will disagree with me, but our choices are in this country. It's a false choice.
Yeah.
Defend Israel or have healthcare in this country.
100%. And the U.S., their Iron Dome wasn't working against Iran. So it was actually our weapons that had to ward off the weapons that were coming in from Iran. So it's not even, we've heard about it for years that the Iron Dome is, the top shelf of defense. And we now are going to have a golden dome here, apparently, thanks Trump. But they needed us to come in.
Why did he have to make it golden shower sounding?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it sounds like to me too.
Why?
But also, like, if they had to worry more about the attacks coming from other countries that they are trying to obliterate, maybe they would do more to forge peace in that region instead of always being this lunatic nation bombing 4 nations right now at the same time.
There would be no justification to say Nazi defense weapons. Like, no, the Nazis, I don't know. We got to figure that out. But like,
Nazi
these are
Germany
defensive weapons for Nazi Germany.
Yeah, disgusting. Justin, we can't let UNRWA give food. They're Hamas, which is what they said which was a total lie. It went from 12 members of 30,000 people roster of UNRWA. They said 12 of them helped on October 7th. Then the number went down to 4. They still have come up with no proof, but the U.S. has blocked all aid to UNRWA under Joe Biden and continued under Trump.
And in no world,
season. YouTube member. Thank you.
It's just, in no world do you take, in an emergency situation, it's like in the US, we said, you know what, things are bad in LA with the fires, so we're going to get rid of the firemen and put in a new group of people that have never trained to fight fires.
Yep. We'll get more ICE people in there. No, it's sick. It's completely dishonest. It's not disingenuous. It's
intentional.
It's a lie.
It's intentional starvation and murder of kids and everyone. We all know
this is the leader right now. I mean, listen, we showed every chance we got videos of Joe Biden being a buffoon because he did real damage, obviously. But the intention there was also because he was somehow remade, even though he had had decades of being a horrific right-wing, warmongering, racist, rapist politician, as empathetic Joe, who was the most progressive ever. So that was all a lie. So that is where those videos and those pieces of evidence were, I think, really important for, I mean, I think everybody here already knew that, but like just to show, to combat the dominant narrative that was being pushed by the Democratic Party. No such narrative exists about Trump. He is a despicable, hateful person. That's all he's ever been. And that's all I think most of us have ever seen him as. And yet I feel like sometimes we still need to show the things that he says and how horrifying they are, especially on a world stage. He's talking about the GHF and the money that US has given to help Palestinians who are starving to death.
The States recently, just a couple of weeks ago, we gave $60 million. It's a lot of money. No other nation gave money. I know the Prime Minister would if he knew about it, and he really knows about it now because we're going to be discussing it. But we gave $60 million. Nobody said even thank you. Thanks. Somebody should say thank you.
We've got a lot of hostages out over the last 6 months that I've been in. I've been in office for 6 months now. And these hostages have been, many of them have come to the Oval Office and they've thanked me so profusely. I said, you don't have to thank me. I did what I have to do.
Nobody thanked me. What I love is the bagpipe player trying to drown him out. He's in Scotland there. Nobody thanked me. He is truly a case.
He's an evil narcissist like every billionaire. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think that today we don't have in the chat because he said he is moving tomorrow, but because this is just breaking and it was the work that he did, Buddha Activist works with an organization that has revealed Canada shipping weapons to Israel even after they said they were stopping. And this just broke, I think, yesterday. Groundbreaking report exposes Canada's military exports to Israel. Report uncovered hundreds of shipments of weapons and military goods from Canada to Israel between October 2023 and July 2025. 421,000 bullets were exported to Israel since the Gaza assault began, including one shipment in April 2025 alone, which contained 175,000 bullets. And so they are trying to start legal proceedings, international flights that were transporting Canadian weapons to Israel, and shipments dispatched from 7 Canadian cities. So the effort with this organization then, is to have some accountability and make sure that everybody complicit in this genocide has to pay on some level. Like, you should not be able to be part of society ever again. I think there's also ex-IDF soldiers who have dual citizenship. I think in Canada, Belgium, and Ireland, they are prosecuting IDF soldiers who have returned to their other home. But anyway, cheers to good activists. We'd love to have him on. I think in a few weeks he might be able to come on. Yeah, but that's really impressive work to do that.
Amen. And I apologize for mic issues. I guess I'll have to talk to somebody who's in the audience here. Maybe Justin, we can talk about it so I can figure out what's going on. Because Lila, can you hear it as well?
Yeah, you sound good right now, but every once in a while there's like a crackling.
Interesting. I just don't understand it. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But
so okay. There's a couple other things that we should talk about. There are a couple other clips. We are already at 7:15. Is there one particular way you want to go? We're still dealing with the Epstein stuff, which, you know, is also part of all of the Israel stuff and the domestic and international corruption. And
yeah, I think we should just go out on the Epstein stuff. So on the Israel stuff that we didn't show, we got the Pod Save boys pretending, and this is a good moment, sort of.
Yeah.
The Pod Save boys, that's an Obama created podcast. They all worked for Obama back in the day. They're saying that Democrats need to run as the anti-war, stepping away from Israel party, which is an amazing admission from them. So it's too long to watch, and I wouldn't want you to suffer that hard. So we'll skip that. But
yeah, they just had their tirade, and so did Jon Stewart, which I actually thought he was more. I mean, they keep doing it. It's like the liberal Zionists are like neoliberals here, or compassionate capitalism. They keep making it seem like it's just this one person or this just one government right now. And what it is no matter what, a religious ethno-state is not a democracy and will end in ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and genocide. And capitalism is not compassionate and will end in eugenics and a death cult. So when they keep doing this sort of squishy condemnation of Israel right now under Netanyahu and his Likud government, I think that is a way of absolving themselves for still hoping that there is an Israel Jewish state. And the only way for that to happen is for it inherently to be an ethno-state that's not a democracy. So it's a little it's sad because it's not getting there entirely, but yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to, are we out here? Where are we at? I think
stuff, because we're not going to watch we're not watching.
I don't watch podcasts.
The Pod Boys make me ill. I'm deleting it right now. What are you looking for?
I think we should show Epstein the video that shows him being full of shit and complicit with the worker at his site. I mean, I know that's a pivot, but
yeah, well, yeah. So let's just move on. Okay, so the first one to the left of that, though, let's show both of them. They're both short, but
All right.
It's Trump doing his words.
That was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
I didn't have the privilege.
And in one of my very good moments, I said, don't call the 16-year-old girl over because I'm feeling.
I'll just do that back at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, keep it in-house.
Yeah, in-house, which is the reason he gives now for their falling out. So Epstein says it was a real estate deal, but Trump now gives this as the reason.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
And the person apparently that he's most, there was a longer interview or a longer part of that where he talks about Jeffrey Epstein stealing people from his Mar-a-Lago spa, one of the best in the world. And that's where Virginia Giuffre worked.
So the video I wanted to show is this one, which gets into that real quick.
Do it.
So real quick.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice. So thank you all very much.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place.
Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women? What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs in the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, does that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
I mean, I feel like, when I say this a lot, because when somebody's like, oh, you're about to meet somebody, like how I felt when I knew that those, Orthodox Jews who were at the baseball field, I was like, okay, just don't say it. And then the woman herself was like, oh my God, it's a foul ball. He'll be my human shield, or like if somebody doesn't swear, doesn't drink, and you're like, just don't say it. Don't say it. He's talking about an underage sex rape ring, and then talks about a young girl who is 16 being stolen from him. Like, it's so perverse. He can't even help himself to couch his language in something that might make him feel less like he was a member of this disgusting child rape society. I mean, he stole my girl from the spa.
Yeah, to me, to me, he absolutely was guilty and all this stuff. I'm sure he was. The arrogance of him, like he was. I don't know. I guess you could still be a narcissist like him and possibly not, have sex with underage workers, but the cavalierness, which he talks about, he took her, like. He knows himself that this is a person making these accusations. She's not just some random person that used to work for him. He knows what she's involved with and that she makes these claims against Epstein.
Yep.
So he's not just saying like, oh, like another business stole my employee. He knows it's not that, and he can't help himself because of the arrogance, the narcissism. Yeah, he stole my sex workers, basically. I mean, that's him trying not to say it, but saying it.
Yeah.
And the sex worker part of it is one thing, but the underageness is the main thing. Let's just be clear. Like, that's the really.
The rape was the thing, because it was not
Well,
consensual,
the rape,
right?
I mean,
like, yeah.
yes,
I mean, I'm not saying that. I know you
underage.
know that, but like, what the? It's not like, and they even have sometimes called them like young women, underage women. Underage women are girls, and it wasn't sex work. It was rape. Like, all of the euphemisms that these people use, it's insane. It's rape of children, child rape. I'm not saying
It's
this
how
to
they
you.
sleep.
Yeah,
No,
like,
of course.
oh my
It's how
God.
they sleep at night. You know, it's the Israeli vocabulary lesson of propaganda. It's the same thing. They sleep at night because they think that was a young girl, young woman.
She wanted it. I was helping her with her art career. There was another, that's how they got them. And unfortunately, for a lot of these young girls, victims, they were already abused in their own homes, so it's like a cycle of abuse. And this is where Ghislaine Maxwell came in, is because she could spot that, as most people can, but especially predators. And she would groom them. She would also, apparently, at least according to testimony, also rape them. Like, so she would, abuse them emotionally, but she would also abuse them physically. And, I'm sure she's going to be pardoned. Anyway, it's, and this is all in service of what, right? Like, on its face, it's horrific just as it exists. And there are plenty of people who are rapists who are not also part of a CIA Mossad blackmail ring to control the ruling powers of the world.
And the reason this has not been exposed and we don't have justice for all these people who were victims of Epstein is because of capitalism. It's because of this system that allowed the powerful people to have, the rich people to have all this power in our government.
Yep.
And it's why both parties are hiding all this stuff. It's why all this continues on some other level in another group that we don't know about at this point.
Yep. Yeah. And, listen, I mean, for sure, Donald Trump is a disgusting criminal. I wouldn't trust him with my children or anybody I love or know or anything with a heartbeat or nothing. Like, he's awful. Even if he were not complicit in this child rape ring, he is surrounded by people who are. So, I mean, I know this is what you're saying, but like, this is how they get everybody, because he can't reveal it. I mean, that's why I really don't understand. I know, but even if you weren't somebody who went to Epstein, if they don't have tapes on you, if you weren't like all of that, you still can't reveal it, because like Obama didn't reveal it. How can you? Everybody you meet with, everybody the head of every major institution, Bill Gates, the president of Harvard, the president of Israel, they're all child rapists. So now what are you going to do?
And that's what's wild about the Democrats making it their biggest issue now. It's just like, oh, it's hurting Trump. But well, you literally had the power to release everything that's out there right now that he's allegedly sitting on. And they ran against you as an issue that you didn't release this.
Yep.
And so when Democrats take power next, Republicans are going to run on you releasing it again. And we're just going to play this whole big fucking game that doesn't get anyone any justice. And that's why we can't rely on this two-party system for a day longer.
All right. It's really late. We should go. If you get a chance to watch the Bad Faith podcast, Brianna Joy Gray had Whitney Webb on, and they're talking about all of this stuff. At the end, when Whitney Webb was talking about, we're not overtaking this system by voting them out, which we all know, but the hope that I got at the end of building community and parallel societies, it's a smaller plan because it doesn't solve the wars. It doesn't solve the damage to climate. It doesn't, like, there's a lot that it doesn't solve, but there is something also that provides a small path of daily hope, of connecting with community and building systems amongst ourselves. It's like the alt UBI that Gwen and Leanne talk about. It's the, when we had Joaquin on, when he was the one who went and was providing water for the city of Pasadena, and masks. It's that sort of level of, that's the only place I can find hope right now, so I really appreciated her saying that. Anyway.
Amen. I have not watched it. I've watched some clips from it, but I haven't seen the whole interview.
It's really good.
I did watch the whole Sager interview and I loved it. I mean,
the whole what?
Sager
and Crystal. Yeah, it was great. Watch that too. It's like 12.5 minutes. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Thank you to Professor Nicole Lee Schroeder for coming on. Definitely check out her website and her article in her book. She's fantastic. Cheers to her. And anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, but where did the one good thing go? Why am I not seeing it in our list of things?
Did you need to put it back up while I stall for time really quickly? And
what is happening? So, okay, I want to just say we were very hard on StreamYard as they deserved.
Yes.
But they did fix our biggest problem we had with them. So that part is fixed. But
they fixed it like 75%. Cheers. Reflect the Sun. Thank you. 50 Punch Up Pod memberships. Holy cow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you uploading it right now?
I am.
Okay, we're starting.
The crazy thing is, like, the things I've looked for, like, this was definitely there. This definitely just disappeared somehow.
You know what's weird is when you uploaded the Cory Booker thing, there was already one.
It showed up twice, but it wasn't there before.
Yeah, there's something going on. StreamYard has not gotten out all their kinks yet. We should blame your mic problems, not on your new mic, but on StreamYard. I will just say, because we sort of thank you, Rebel Seer. We did not get to Columbia just completely capitulating to the Trump administration, and now Harvard willing to do the same. And the use of the IHRA definition for anti-Semitism, so criticism of Israel will be considered anti-Semitic. They are already getting rid of 80 students who they've suspended them, who were part of all these protests. And that is another really illustrative, instructive moment to show us that these liberal institutions are not working for us or knowledge or an exchange of ideas. If they ever were, they are not anymore. So
they are fully cowards now, and because of them enabling stuff like the genocide, they are also enabling the cutting of research to their own institutions that are keeping us all safe and healthy and measuring climate stuff. And like, we're going back 100 years because of all these institutions caving on Israel.
Worker protections. Yeah, all of it. And it's all for capital. I mean, it's all just because they're greedy bastards.
Right, we found one. M Sparks, cheers. We found one good person. There is one good person. I love Miss Rachel to my core.
Yeah, same.
She is amazing. She used her platform at great risk to her own wealth and career, and that's all we can ask for from somebody right now.
I agree. Thank you all. Keep punching up. We'll see you on Sunday. We love you guys. Cheers.
Hi, friends. It's Miss Rachel. I have someone really special that I want to introduce you to today.
Hello, Andy, Effie, oh my God.
Eileen, Wow, you're 3? Lean has a really important message she wants to share with the world. Other children in the world. You want to learn and play, and that's exactly what you should be doing, Lean, because you're a kid, you're 3. Every child should get to have a childhood. 150, 20. This breaks my heart, Lean. No child should ever have food, water, or medical care blocked from them. Every child, no matter where they're born, has human rights. No more bombs. Read them. I feel scared. Lean, you deserve to feel safe. You should be coloring with crayons and kicking balls. Adults should be creating a world for you where you're laughing, playing, and going to school, not where you're running from bombs. Please, have the city from Gaza. Today, Lean and I are asking everyone to speak up for the children of Gaza. Leaders, parents, celebrities, teachers, anyone who cares about kids. When children's rights are taken away, adults must speak up. It's not a choice, it's a responsibility. Please listen to Lean, share Lean's message, tag people. Lean and I want to thank you. We love you.